What is going on, guys? Wally here with another commentary, and in today's video we're talking about some Destiny PvP. That's right, player versus player, and kind of the pros and cons on it, what's good about it, what's not so good about it, what they can work on, and hopefully what's going to get changed here in the near future. But before I get into that, I want to let you guys know that I did start a recent lore series on Destiny, and the reason I did that is because I really find myself enjoying the fantasy type setting, and I found myself enjoying the fantasy type setting of other games, other series, particularly the Tolkien series. I found myself really enjoying that, even though I didn't read the books. So I wanted to try my hand at doing a lore series to get you guys better informed. So if you want to check that out, the link to the video will be in the description. But enough about that, let's talk about some PvP. So here you're watching some footage, and I haven't recorded recent footage of the Titan subclass Defender, but this is mostly striker gameplay of the Titan. So that's where most of my experience come from, and I'm going to give you the basis of all the knowledge that I can impart upon you, keep you better informed out there in PvP. So as far as I know, in Crucible, leveling advantages are disabled, but gear advantages are not. And what I mean by that is not exactly your armor. If I'm not mistaken, your armor is always capped at a certain level, so is your health. And the weapons that you pick up will not do absurd amounts of damage regardless of your level. So if you go in as like a level 5 and you play against a light level 22, you're going to be doing the same damage or around the same damage. I'm not 100% sure on that. I have to double check, but that's pretty much what I understand of how the Crucible works. Iron Banner, on the other hand, that's different. Iron Banner, if I'm not mistaken, has everything to do with gear, and your gear directly correlates to how well you're going to do depending on your skill as a player, so on and so forth. But let's get into the pros. Alright, so the pros of Destiny PvP is that it is incredibly fast paced, a lot of great movement, the character models and of course movement and animations all feel incredibly fluid. There's a lot of verticality to the gameplay, and in all, it's very enjoyable. You will find yourself dying a lot. It's not Battlefield or Call of Duty, really. It has some essences of the two, since all games are FPSs, but it does share some similarities in the fact that most of the way you're going to play Destiny is you're going to be moving from objective to objective if you're playing Control, and even if you're playing Clash, which is the TDM variant, you're going to be moving around the map quite a bit. Sometimes you'll find yourself playing a bit more defensively, but a majority of the time you're going to find yourself moving around a whole bunch. The maps are very good. I have to say that these are some of the best maps that I've played. They don't feel too big, they don't feel too small, they feel just right. And that's the way I like my maps, just like I like my soup. Hopping into it though, map pacing is pretty good. You'll see yourself fighting on different maps. Sometimes they will repeat in the rotation, but it's not terrible where you'll see yourself repeating the same map 5 times. I think the most times I've repeated in the rotation is like 3 times, and that's not terrible. But the game modes are somewhat of a factor for me, and the biggest problem is because I don't really particularly find myself playing 3v3 that much. Now, I'm not saying 3v3 is bad. It's something that I definitely want to get into, and it's something that I definitely have tried a little bit, but I love 6v6. I love playing with as many friends as possible because I like playing with my buddies, and I also like stacking because I'm bad at the game. But that's just who I am as an individual. And if you like to play like that, then you're going to find yourself missing some of the better game modes like Salvage and a few of the others, because some of those game modes are limited to 3v3. Now, I hope they change it in the future, and from my understanding, we're talking about Bungie here, they're going to do a lot of things with PvP, so I'm not really too worried. I will get worried, however, if we don't see a change in, say, 6 months, but then again, I really don't think that's going to happen. I have faith in Bungie. I believe they know what they're doing. Now, the final thing on the pros is teamwork. This is where it's really going to pay off. If you find yourself playing with a team that is really working together, and I mean making callouts, moving together as a team shotting, you're going to find yourself enjoying the game oh so much more than playing by yourself. Now, keep that in mind, because you really do want to play with your buddies out there, because sometimes you're going to run into teams that are quite good, and if you're playing by yourself, there's nothing you can do. One man, don't matter how good you are, if you run into a group of 3, you will die. There's nothing you can do about it. You just die that fast. Team shotting is real in this game, so keep that in mind. Play with your buddies. If you guys want to play with me, feel free to hit me up. Now let's hop into the cons. Now, the cons are more subjective than they are objective. I would say some of them vary in the realm of being potentially overpowered, but honestly, I haven't put that much time into PvP to really tell you what's overpowered and what isn't. But I'll give you the brief overview. Essentially, in every single PvP match, the one thing that I've run into is that you're always going to see at least half of the enemy team with auto rifles, which are the basic assault rifles in the game, which are the bread and butter killers. They are incredibly good. They have great range, great fire, and they have little to no recoil. Now keep this in mind, because this is really something you're going to want to carry into battle. You will get outclassed sometimes by someone with an assault rifle, especially someone with an incredibly fast firing assault rifle. So keep that in mind when you go into your PvP matches. It may nuance you a little bit. It nuanced me in the beta, but I'm not really going to ride the high horse in this game like I ride it in Battlefield. I'm going to use an assault rifle or an auto rifle like everybody else, and I'll mix it in with some scout rifle action because, you know, who doesn't love a good scout rifle? Hopping into the next one will be the super abilities. Now, some of the supers are maybe not so overpowered, but some of them can be considered overpowered. But the whole idea of the super is that you're meant to kill people. That's the entire prerogative of the thing. Unless you're using the Titan sub-defender or subclass called the Defender, which basically is a bubble shield, you're going to be killing everybody. And even the bubble shield is potentially a little too good. But I think that's the point of the super. The point of the super is to at least give everyone the chance, an opportunity to get some kills. And you will have the ability to get your super at least once or twice a match. So keep that in mind. They do come slightly nuanced, if that's the word. And if you find yourself annoyed by instant deaths, perhaps Destiny multiplayer may not be for you. The heavy weapons are another problem. Now, heavy weapons spawn in the game, so you basically have to pick up the ammo for the heavy weapon. You're able to carry an LMG or a rocket launcher. Now, the LMGs are particularly overpowered because you carry so many more rounds, and they have the ability to pretty much instantly kill you. Keep that in mind, because you will find yourself dying by heavies. There's pretty much nothing you can do about it unless you find yourself becoming a particularly resourceful player by using the environment to your advantage, which you can get away from heavies. They're not the end-all, be-all ultimate weapons of destruction, but you will find yourself dying from them nonetheless. Now, the final thing, and I think this applies to any game, but I'm going to make the point anyway, is the randoms. Now, this game hasn't been out so long that everyone is, of course, exempt from this rule. I'm not exempt yet at all, and I find myself making dumb mistakes pretty much all the time. But like I said, you want to go in and play with your buddies, because if you go into matches, you're not enjoying yourself, it's probably because you're playing by yourself, or you're playing with particularly people that are strong potatoes. So keep that in mind. Play with your buddies as much as possible, and like I said, play with me. But that is a brief overview of PvP. I hope you guys are enjoying the footage that I'm putting up. I am really enjoying Destiny, but I will have more Battlefield footage in the future, most likely this week. That will do it for me, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys on the stream. I'm out. Peace.